We talk hip-hop with a serpent tongue, no holds barred reviews and interviews, but it's all in fun. Chopping it up with some of your favorites and some you never heard of, to the Maximus. Banter laced with candor in our practices. Respect to the newbies and the greats, hot takes baked into this layer cake for the sake of the listener. Putting you on to the freshness, remember where you heard it, guilty or innocent, what's the verdict?
What's going on, everybody? This is Corban, the Serpent tongue Skipwith.
And Brutus Maximus from Rawside Hip Hop. And you're tuned into The Verdict.
The Verdict, what's going on? We have a very special guest today. If you want to introduce yourself.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bassy, a.k.a. Nicholas Cage, a.k.a. Larry J. Blige, a.k.a. your mother's baby father, a.k.a. Skinny Biggie, Brooklyn, New York, 6-man entertainment in the building. What's good, y'all? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you for taking time out to be on here today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate y'all, man, all the time.
Nice. All right. So initially, I wanted to have you on after last fortnight's episode because last week we talked about the Rome Streets album, Kiss the Ring, and I figured what better way to
dope album. Dope album, by the way, too.
Yeah,
dope album.
It's a great album, and I thought what better way to segue from that than to talk about another fantastic album released similar times with a similar name, Four Finger Ring, released by you. So yeah, I figured we could dissect it and have a conversation about it.
Okay, let's do it. Do
it. So look, I want to start by saying, can we talk about the intro to that album? Because it sounded like a very MF Doom type skit, anxiety about all the things going on in the world right now. So what inspired that for your intro?
Well, Four Finger Ring represents being able to, it's like being a superhero, and when you got that ring on, you're able to get through the bullshit. You know what I mean? So you're protected as long as you got that four-finger ring. So I felt that it was great to start off anxiety with that, to pretty much let everybody know, okay, well, these are the things that we're dealing with, that you're gonna need that four-finger ring for. So just to kind of contain everything in the intro, like these are the things that we're gonna be fighting on this album.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Bruce?
Yeah, that's cool. Now, Seed, you know I love the album. I think when we did our first Verdict podcast with a couple of really special guests, they were asking what was my album of the year, and I said Four Finger Ring at the time, and it probably still stands up a few months later. So what I wanted to talk to you about with this album is that, different to some of the others, that you were a real social commentary underlay element to that one as well. Did you want to talk us through, tracks like Bloody Rain and that, like there's a real social element to this album, a social commentary element?
There is. It's interesting because I kind of reintroduced myself to the game back in 2018 when I came back, because I was retired, but when I came back with the album with Knots, No Way in Hell. So with that being said, there was a lot of people who, like the newer boom bap heads, might not have been familiar with who I am, like my lineage, like what I come from. So I figured the best way to really do that in a reintroduction type of a situation, you got to let everybody know you could rap. So that's why I was real relentless with dropping a lot of projects to let people know, talking braggadocio, rap, stuff like that, so people so I could drill in their heads that, hey, this guy could rap. But one thing that from back in the days when I used to run with Jean Grey and I used to run with Quali and PH and all of them, that I was really known for in the camp was the stories, was the social commentary, was the deep, curating and putting it all together like that. So it was always a plan to gradually bring that onto the fan base. So the fan base thinks that they're growing with you. No, you're not growing. I've been there. You know, I'm slowing up a little bit and letting people catch up gradually. Like you're gonna start seeing more of that on more projects that I'm working on. I'm not gonna stray away from what the new people are love me for, but let's really call a spade a spade. Like I'm take the music aside. Like I actually talk about these things publicly that I rap about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm pretty much championing and walking the walk and talking the talk on the things that I speak about publicly, on be it whether it be social media or podcasts, interviews. Like there'll be a song about it. You know, that's my content. So
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's more than just a rapper. Is that you're quite iconic in the hip hop scene because you will engage with fans, you will engage online. You're not scared to talk about real world issues, and you always keep it 100 with everyone. People know where you stand, and sometimes you'll even pose questions to people and use your platform and your following to generate valuable discussion. So
yeah.
that's something that a lot of art we don't get that from a lot of artists.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that ties into the whole 6-man thing. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of this shit, first and foremost, before I was even a rapper. And even when I was a rapper, I tell people I'm fortunate to have came up in the time and in the place where I came up when hip hop was bubbling, because a lot of my favorites that I saw on TV, I ended up becoming friends with, or ended up bumping elbows with, or being around during my travels, and just being able to watch them and learn, and whether it be direct or indirectly, it's just a beautiful thing, man. It's just love it.
Nice. Look, one thing I want to talk about is the song Complex Napoleon, because I'm a real history buff. I love history, so when I heard that song and the chorus, I got a Napoleon complex, or that chorus line, it really, it gave me, exciting chills, because it's such a badass line. It's such a badass song title. So I want you to tell me more about that track, how that came about. Where did you think of it?
I got a Napoleon complex, reaching the coat, because he was always reaching in his coat, let off explodables. You know what I mean? I'm not a big guy, but I always, like, my energy is bigger than me. So that's pretty much where that came from. Just braggadocio, the Diddy Bob King, like all y'all big and all that, but I dance with all y'all. That's just that. Just setting the tone, like letting people know I'm here.
Nice. Well, yeah, I I love listening to that song, because it's just, like I said, as a history buff myself, it's just a fun song to listen to. And one thing I want to ask you is, you said how you've ended up meeting or rubbing elbows with people who you grew up listening to. Does it change the context? Like, does it change anything about how you listen to their music going forward? Is there anything different going from listening as a fan to actually meeting them in real life and seeing what they're really like? Is there anything there that changes for you?
Yeah, a lot. And it doesn't really have anything to do with how I look at them musically. A lot of it is how I look at them personally. Like when you start to see how they move and how they act, it's crazy. Especially when you start getting hit. Yo, I be getting hated on by a couple. Yo, it's crazy. Like, I'm not even going, but it's crazy when your idols become your rivals, and people that you admired. But those stories are far and few in between. For the most part, it's been love. And if anything changes as far as how I perceive them, it's how they're moving personally as a person, after I come in contact with them. As far as musically, if they fall off, they fall off. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean? So the only way for me to look at them differently musically is if they fall off.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
That's cool. Going back to the braggadocious sort of stuff. So, we've had albums like Alpha, we get Four Finger Ring, I want to know more. We'll get to it. I want to know more about Skinny Biggie. And, just for Corbs, I know that there's a project in the background that relates quite heavily to some history that Corbs will love. I want to talk about some of the tracks like you had Haven't P, and on this one you got Bill and Fame. Talk us through, because I love the chemistry on those tracks. Talk us through the pairings that you've picked. Are these guys that you've looked up to, or what's inspired those particular joints?
Yeah, those songs, both produced by my sis Murder Megs. Well, first P and Half came about on Alpha, and it was fire. I mean, the beat just gave me the Mobb Deep feel. It made me feel like I was P or Half. It just made me feel like that. So, and I thought it was dope. And I told her, I said, yo, every album that I do that has multiple producers, if you're on the album, I said, we have to do something with duos of MCs that I love. And so that's what we're gonna do. There's one on this upcoming. I'm not gonna give away who the duo is, but it's just a little Easter egg for people who follow me to look forward to. Like, damn, as long as it's like, if it's a team demo album, of course it's not gonna be on it. But if it's an album I'm doing with multiple producers and Murder Megs is on there, you can guarantee we're gonna have a duo jump on it. And just something for the people to look forward to. That's all. I'm big into that. Like, I'm a hip hop fan. Like, I love. To me, that's hip hop. That's like how Jane, 1, 2, 3. Superman Lover. I just like shit like that.
Nice. When I was listening to this album, one of the instrumentals that really stuck out to me was the song "Thinking About You," with that wailing vocal chord. Like, can you tell me more about that? Where you chose that specific sample from? Why you chose that? And yeah, where did it come from?
Shout out to my man Take Notes. He did that track. I mean, I didn't actually pick the sample. He picked the sample for that. That was actually in the beat pack that he sent to me, and I heard it, and I loved it. I knew when I heard it. The ill thing about that song is that, like, the beat felt sad, but it also felt like everything's gonna be okay too. It gave me those feelings, So that's why I figured, yo, let's do. And at the time, Meg's moms had just passed. My sis, her moms had just passed. So, I figured, yo, let's do like a tribute. I could do a tribute because people was dropping left and right. My man Doc Ock had just passed. While I was working on the album. So, it was like, hey, let's do a tribute, but not make it just be sad. Make it like, yeah, it's sad, but I'm thinking about you. Even though you're not here, I still think about you. But I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still move through earth without fear, but I'm sick without you. Literal throwing up sick without, you know what I mean? Like, look, I'm not good, but I'm still move through this, So that's what that represented. That's one of my favorite songs too. All of them shits is mean something just because of what I was going through during that time. Like I was going through a lot during those 2 months. It was just 2 months that I did the album.
Yeah, and you can tell the personal nature of it. And I know we've spoken about it before, Seed. Tracks like Bloody Rain, but just that thinking about you, it's one of those things where there are songs that are done as a tribute that can make you sad. But the thing that we always get with you, and then it comes from your constant missing of PH, is that it's always a celebration of life. It's not a goodbye. It's not always sad, because there's such positivity from that too. And to keep carrying someone with you the whole way, to be thinking about them all the time, bringing them on the journey even though they're not here. I think that you do a really good a take on it, where there is still some real good positivity throughout. It doesn't have to be a sad joint.
Right. I still to this day have not done a record for PH. Like you would think I have, like my PH, I miss you. Like just for him, I still haven't done it. I tried and couldn't get through it. Did I record it? Did it get recorded? Matter of fact, I think I did record it. I think I did record it, and I think I don't think I've ever listened to it again. Yeah, you know what I mean. Cause it was. I just, I don't know. I want to keep everything rap. Like because he loved it too, like heavy. So I don't want to get it too bland and too, not saying that giving him a tribute would be bland, but what's understood don't need to be said. Let me just put it like that. But Four Finger Ring was real personal, just period. Like even Four Finger Ring Part 1, like the song Four Finger Ring Part 1, when I say police ran in my crib on some piranha shit, real shit. I thought they killed me in front of my mama shit. Four Finger Ringing, like that really happened. Like in my crib that I was living in, I had to move, because there was a lot going on over there. Code enforcement came, shut the shit down, and I had to move unexpectedly. But before that, there was a guy that lived in one of the units in my building, and I guess he had robbed somebody, armed robbery, and police was looking for him. So one day, it was a Saturday, I had to go to the studio that day. I'm working on the album. I'm working on Four Finger Ring. I'm on the phone with my mother. I had the earpiece in, and I'm hearing boo, 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 boo on the front door downstairs, in the unit. So I'm like, yo, I know he got a PO that comes to see him sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't thinking too much of it. But then, and my mother could hear all this too. Then after a while, I heard them call his name, say they the police, come outside. He was bullshitting. I heard the door downstairs, them kicking the door. They was like, we coming in. My mother's on the phone freaking out, right? I'm like, oh shit, I'm trying to keep her calm. I'm hearing them kicking the other cribs. I'm hearing them kicking them doors. Everybody wilding out. They get to my door. I'm standing in the living room. Now, mind you, I had just came from the cardiologist because I had just had COVID and I had a mild heart attack. Like it was crazy. Right? So, I'm standing in my living room, my hands up. Police kicked the door in. My mother's on the phone like, oh shit, it was like 10 police officers with machine guns pointed at me with the beams and the riot gear and all of that. I'm like, I got my hands in there. I'm like, it's not me. I said my wallet and the information I just came from the cardiologist, bro, just now. Like all that shit is on my bed. Like just go on my room, it's on my bed. Yo, they let the dog loose through my shit. That's why I said on the song, I said, the the police dog pee on my clothes, little motherfucker. Except he ain't pee on the clothes. He actually took a shit on my area rug, the gray area. It was like a big wet lump of shit. Yo, I was pissed. Yo, my mother's hearing all this. She crying, wailing. I'm telling them like, yo, please don't kill me in front of my mother. You know what I'm saying? They like, yo, who the fuck? Ooh. Long story short, they end up catching the guy, whatever. The guy was hiding in the attic, up in the beams and shit. It was crazy. But, all that shit was going on and I recorded that song that day when I went to the studio.
Man. That's crazy.
Wow.
Serious. Serious. Like, life is the best. You can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? Life is the best, makes the best music. A lot of that stuff on there was real. Like She Gang Gang, like that's real shit. Like that actually happened to me. You know what I'm saying? When I was young though.
Yeah.
First day of school, I think that's something we all going through. Like, I mean, I know we going through the album, but it's a lot of that is real personal stuff, real personal material. That's why there's no features. There's nobody rapping on there but me. And like everything's really personal.
Yeah. It's interesting, thinking about, I was always told growing up from my mom that some of the most bizarre and unexplainable things happen in real life instead of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So as in like, yeah, some of the stuff that happens in real life couldn't a fiction writer couldn't even imagine writing.
Right. Like Bloody Rain, I remember working on the album, and I remember that school shooting happened when I was working on the album, and I remember just for a second just thinking, damn, how scared them kids must have been just for a second. Like I was seeing it through their eyes. Like, okay, I'm at school. Somebody just comes in here and just starts shooting. I'm like 9 years old. Like, how fucking scared are you? Like, as a 47-year-old man, like I've been in shootouts. Like I've been in around things like that. And I'm scared of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yo, fuck that. Nah, man, like the bullet don't got no name. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So for a little kid, I know, man, and it bothered me. And, I made the song.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite tracks on the album. I think it's a well put together song, and it's very emotive, but it's delivered really well. And as a father myself, and I know you got a little one who's featured on some albums before, I can only imagine with that. So when I'm listening to that song, I can feel that. I can feel what's done that, and that's where people say you can't make this up, and that's true, because that's your narration of life. And that's what I certainly get when I listen to Four Finger Ring, and it was released months ago, but I still listen to it. And I can pinpoint that it was a particularly tumultuous time for you, but in the world in general. So when it finally came out, it was that narrative, and it's still something that when you press play now, you still think of what was going through your head when you first heard Bloody Rain, for instance, or you first heard that album.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I tried to to be, well, I can't even say that. I can't even say, well, I tried to. It just happened like that. Like to talk about things that was really on my heart, man. Like even with Just Be True. Like I just got so tired of having that conversation with hip hop fans, because I feel like boom bap hip hop fans are the worst type of fans that in the whole world. Like they're worse than Beyonce fans. Like, and what I mean by that is just the snobbiness of I don't even consider a lot of them even fans. I think they're just critics. You understand what I'm saying? I think the art of being a fan is lost, and I wanted to talk about it. Like basically, and it's early in the album because I want people to know, look, if you're gonna rock with me, let's get this out the way. Before we get into this album, like you gotta be true to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm true to you. Best believe that. You know what I mean? So it's just a little contract before we really got into the album.
Yeah. Do you so when you're recording an album, and obviously we'll talk about this one, when you're recording this album, do you find that your emotions that you might have through your day-to-day experiences, so one day something might happen to make you angry, someday you might be super happy about something, do you find it hard to contain those emotions when recording, or do you just let them flow in the studio?
It's a good question. It depends. Like that's not anything that's pretty uniform. Um it depends because I be in such a zone and so locked in to the project that it becomes like a machine. Like I don't want to sound cliche or anything like that, but it's really like that. Like it's almost robotic to where there's really no feeling or no emotion. It's like that project needs to be shaped and formed. Now as an artist, I feel like I'm to the point where I can tap into those emotions if I need to. See, here's the thing. I think a lot of artists aren't real with themselves. I get a lot of problems because a lot of people feel that they're my peer because we're in kind of on the same level right now. But how can we be peers when my experience is you know what I'm saying? Like I really feel like my 10,000 hours is in. And I'm not talking about behind the scenes. I'm talking about in the field. Like I really feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So as an artist, I feel like if I need to tap into certain things, I could do that. It's when the artist can't and thinks that they can that there's a problem. And you can hear it. You can hear it. I think a lot of these artists' problem is that they're not real with themselves. The problem is that there's no A&Rs anymore. Everybody feels like they the man, which you should, but come on, man. I'm from the era where we didn't have the internet. You really had to be who you said you was. We didn't have like. I mean, I was fortunate to be able to be around studios and shit, but there was ciphers on every corner in New York City when I was coming up. Ciphers, like real shit. After every show, ciphers. Like, what are you talking about? In New York City, 8th Street. I was just telling somebody about this. West 4th, 14th Street, ciphers, Broadway, all the ciphers. Mad people on the corner, most deaf, freestyle, like all types of titans. Just Shabam Sadiq, whoever, like you could just see people on the corner rapping. Like that's where we come from. So you had to be a certain way. So I hold people to a certain standard. Just because you could write a couple raps in your house and go in there, nigga, you wasn't in the field. You really wasn't out here. Like don't get it twisted because I look young. Like I'm an old head. Like I was really out here. Like I seen it. I seen it go down. I was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I so many times, because for me, I grew up, um I grew up collecting CDs, so I have a very high standard. I'm an album guy. I'm not a singles guy. I don't like playlists. I'm an album to album guy. And to me, whenever I can't help but think that there should be some kind of mandatory prerequisite for new artists. You know, like they should join a cipher and see if they last. There should be something in order to prove yourself before you can start making music, because I do feel like a lot of them have it too easy. A lot of them have an ego that they don't really deserve, and it's just like, I think it's something that should be practiced with experience and earned, So I do understand what you're saying with that.
Yeah, man. The ciphers, man, ciphers used to break out anywhere, like, even in school, like that's where it started, That's where I started rapping. And the ciphers would break out in the hood, break out when you leave the hood. Just, they don't even do that no more. You know what I mean? They don't even do that.
Yeah, I've been a hip hop fan for 30 plus years, and you certainly can tell people that have that element to their music as well. And you can tell people that can just rap. There's a lot of artists that can just rap. They can put together 16s, they can send them off to whoever, end up on an album. That's all well and good. And there's a lot of talented people out there too, like yourself, that don't have these big machines behind them either. So they're working, like they're working day in and day out, with a higher skill level than a lot of people that have a lot of backing. So what I loved was the genuine, the authentic discussion that you had when Rome Street's album came out, and we spoke about Rome's album a couple of weeks ago. I loved the genuine authenticity that, yeah, as a fan, you loved that album, but hey, I'm here too, and you might not know it, but I'm every bit as good as this. I just don't have all the marketing behind it. If you like Rome, pop me on, guaranteed to love it. You know what I mean? So I love that discussion that we had.
Not to cut you off, just I want to correct it. I said I'm a fan of Rome Streets and I like the album, but I said my album was better. That's what I said.
True.
Now, and I challenge people to listen to them back to back. Now, why did I do this? Couple reasons. One, I'm not stupid. It's marketing. If his album comes out and his album is called Kiss the Ring, my album is called Four Finger Ring, and it did pretty good. I could make an argument that will make people look at that, which will then make them listen to my album, which is what ended up happening. Because it's no shot to Rome. I don't have no issues with Rome Streets. I like Rome Streets. I think Rome Streets is dope. A lot of people took that shit the wrong way, and that's cool, but why would I have an issue with Rome Streets? Like, that shit don't make no sense. I just feel like Four Finger Ring is a better album. I have no features on it. The production isn't all over the place. It is, but it isn't. The content is more mature, mixed with the rah-rah. And I just feel like it's a better listen as a hip hop fan. Like, if I took myself out of it and listened to it, like, I'm Corey Pearson, not Bad Seed. I'm just somebody who listens to rap. To me, what I would have liked better listening to them both. And that's not saying Kiss the Ring is trash. That's just saying Four Finger Ring is better. Like, you don't say a Benz is trash when a Bentley's around. The Bentley is fire. Like, yes, the Bentley's crazy. But that does not mean that that Maybach is trash. No, that Maybach is fire. Like, what are you talking about? But that Phantom is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that was the maturity of discussion that came out eventually after people get rid of that knee-jerk reaction that you can't like both but think something's better. Everyone thinks that it has to be a one or the other type of scenario, and it doesn't have to be that, you know. And we have these constant debates in everything, you know, and it's in sport, whether it's Kobe, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Jordan. None of those players are trash, you know. They're all brilliant players. Everyone just has a favorite. And for you, I get it. Yours is, and you know, I'm the same. We discussed Rome Street's album. I love it. I thought it was great. I still prefer Four Finger Ring, and I have done for a long period of time.
I haven't heard anybody that said differently. If somebody say differently, it's because they did not listen to it. You didn't listen to it. I know for a fact that if you tell me Kiss the Ring is better than Four Finger Ring, you did not listen to Four Finger Ring. There's no way. No way. There's absolutely no way. I put my balls on it.
I will say this because I do agree, you know, like I am in yourself with this. I think for me personally, I as Brutus knows, and as probably everyone knows, I am a massive Griselda production fanboy. I love the production side of things, I always have, but I think lyrically and flow wise, you do win without a doubt. That's true, you know, and I will give it to you. But for me, I'm just a Griselda production fanboy, so I love the production.
Me too, though. Me too, though. Like, I'm a fan. Like, listen. I don't want to make this that into anything that you know what I'm saying? Because listen, I am a fan. I get excited when they drop. Like, I sit there like all the other fans. Like, I fan out all of that. But there's still that side of me that is also an artist that's active that can compete. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. And I love the fact that I'm so low with it. Like best kept secret shit. Because I know for a fact that take a camp like Griselda, right? Take a camp like them, who I love, right? Also, before I even get into that, to me, there's no such thing as a Griselda sound. We've been doing that. They just made it popular again. That's all. Nobody stopped making that sound. We've been doing that, like forever. You know what I'm saying? Boom, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But as far as Griselda, there's no way in the world out of that whole camp, none of them know who Bad Seed is. Somebody got to know who Bad Seed is. Come on.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. So with that being said, I'm a fan, but I still gotta put my best foot forward. I never know if one day that person who know who Bad Seed is one day just bumping Bad Seed and Westside gonna hear that shit like, oh, who that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta make sure my shit is on point. Cause I'm telling you, if Westside gonna call my phone like, hey, yo, can we do a song? Hey, yo, I'm going crazy. Are you crazy? I love Wes. Love him.
You're going to have to sit through probably 30 conductor we have a problem before you get to West. But
it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good.
So I got a question. So, I mean, just personally, for any upcoming releases, do you have any like wish list producers that you'd love to work with?
Alchemist. Stu Bangers. RZA. Yo, I got some Marco Polo shit. That is crazy. Oh my God, it's fucking crazy. I just love beats, man. I'm a big production guy. It's like, I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm really big on production. That list is pretty long. Yeah, I'll say those people: Alchemist, RZA. Who else did I say?
Stu Bangers.
Stu Bangers. Yeah, we got to get you a Stu. We got to get you a Stu.
Yeah.
It's good that talking about producers though, because you know, we uncover new ones every time. pretty much every time you drop an album, we uncover a new producer. You know, Take Notes, for example, Murder Megs a couple of albums ago. You know,
Freak Show.
obviously there are people that you're looking for, or people that get in touch with you, and the sound just resonates, because these are people that, you know, a lot of us, and I'm a hip hop fan. There were people that I hadn't heard of until you, and now all of a sudden, you know, they feature on your product, your albums and so forth. We start to hear a bit more of them, and you can pick them. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell that you have this ear for production, and that it means something to you, because every person that you've put on, or everyone that's worked on an album with you, has then gone on to other things, because the names just keep popping up now. Megs is everywhere. I love her. I love her sound. She's amazing. Take Notes we're going to hear more of, because, you know, the production on Four Finger Ring was crazy. You know what I mean?
He just did a record with Aguilar. They just put out a couple weeks ago. Yeah, man. And Megs and Honey, they got an album coming out. A couple weeks, man. They're like the female gangsta. You know, they shit is crazy. You know, shout to them. Yeah, on this album coming up, I got some guys that submitted some stuff that's new, that nobody really heard of, like that. Yeah, y'all gonna hear some shit. This new album it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. So far, I mean, it's not done, but so far, Snow Goons produced on there. J.R. Swift, of course, Team Demo. Take Notes. Megs, you know. But there's some guys who sent some shit that I'm looking at, that I'm like, just haven't recorded yet.
You know, I'm curious, because like all the different producers got me thinking. You know, there's an argument or debate that you see online all the time, you know, between having one producer make the album. They always use the infamous Nas Illmatic being one of the first famous cases of using more than one producer, compared to, let's say, early Wu-Tang, where it was RZA doing all production. What do you think the difference is, or the pros and cons of having both one producer doing everything or multiple?
I like to go back and forth. You know, it just depends on the synergy and the energy. Like if I have an energy with you and a synergy with you, we can knock a project out. Like, that's nothing. Especially if you already know what to send me. Like me and Team Demo, like that's like clockwork. Like me and Take Notes get in there, me and Megs get in there. You know, stuff like that. I think stuff like that is really cool. The whole thing with putting multiple producers on their seat. My plan, my thing with Six Man Entertainment, my only artist is Honey De Niro. You know what I'm saying? That's the only six-man artist other than myself. What I'm doing is I'm trying to build a production squad like Diddy built the Hitman. You know what I'm saying? Like Murder Megs, Team Demo, Freak Show, Take Notes. You know what I'm saying? CJ Dove, who did She Gang Gang. You know what I'm saying? And I'm adding people onto that, because I'm a producer too. I used to do beats. You know. I feel like I'm producing these records too, because a lot of the interludes that you hear on the beats, the like, I'm choosing these. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting these joints together. So you know, I feel like Underground Diddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put together the Hitman to where Six Man Entertainment, we have a specific sound. We have a sound. You know what I mean? Like how you said, the Griselda sound. Nah, I want there to be a six-man sound. You know what I mean? To where when you hear it, you know.
Nice. Speaking of since we've gone there, so we've gone to Bad Boy, Puff, that Diddy sound. Talk to us about Skinny Biggie.
Skinny Biggie gonna be the first single off the new album. The new album is called Something Greater Than Myself, and it's pretty dope, man. Skinny Biggie's produced by J.R. Swift. You know, J.R. He does shit for Griselda. He did some shit for Conway and for West Side Gun before. I did a few records with him before. Cool dude, man. We got an album we working on too. Me and him. But yeah, Skinny Biggie, I love it. I love it. When I first heard the beat, it reminded me of some shit Big would rap on right now, like some kicking the door type. You know what I'm saying? It just reminded me of some shit that Big was alive and he heard that beat, he would pick it. And of course, you know, with those claims, you know, Skinny Biggie, I gotta be going crazy on it. You know, I can't, you know, and I'm from Brooklyn and you know, I can't not. So I'm pretty confident that y'all gonna love this. I'm shooting the video next weekend for it, and we're just trying to get everything ready for this album, man. And hopefully everybody digs this album.
Nice. That's sick. You know, obviously we can't wait to hear it, and all the listeners who'll be listening to this, they'll be excited as well. Look, personally, with all the talk of producers going around, I just have one big question for you because I want to get your opinion on it. Which one do you think is better, P. Diddy or Dr. Dre?
All right. This is tough because it's like it's broken down into two parts because it's like who's better and who do I like better. You know, yo, that's the craziest question I've heard in life. I've never had to really had to answer that. Diddy or Dr. Dre? I guess that umbrella's so large. I guess I would have to ask you to be a little more specific. Like what are we talking about? Like, are we talking about if I had okay, so yeah, let's double down on that. So if I had a budget and I could only afford one of them,
yep,
which one would I get?
Yep.
Diddy.
I was gonna say I think he suits your sound more anyway. If I'm imagining it.
I don't know. The thing is Dre. I have a Dr. Dre story. I told it on my YouTube before, but Dr. Dre was interested in signing me at one point. You know, apparently they were looking for me, and you know, that's a whole nother story. But Dre, no, I think we could have made some fire. As far as style wise, because again, I got a lot of bags, man. You know, like there's a lot of bags that y'all might not have heard. You know what I mean? Like I was around early, like Midi Mafia, like the guys who did 21 Questions, and like I was around early, and like there was heavy Dre influence over there. They end up going to work for Dre, doing stuff with Dre. But I got like 70 records with them guys. You know, I'm gonna release, like, I got a lot of stuff, man. Like, there's stuff that will be released later when I'm appreciated. You know, like, I got a whole album, like my first album, solo album, never came out though. Totally produced by Jean Grey. Her name was and her production name was Run Shaw. She produced the whole shit. Matter of fact, she ain't do the whole shit. There was one on there produced by Mr. Sinister of the Executioners, and one produced by my dude Overtime. But Gene did most of it, like 90% of it. PH is on there, and you know, shit is fire. Shit is fire.
Were there any tracks that didn't make Four Finger Ring that we'll get at some point?
Yeah.
I just know the way you work, and I just know that you can record a fire track, but if it doesn't fit with the overall product, that you'll leave it aside, and it may be used for something else, or you know, we may not get to appreciate it. And I'm just thinking, you know, I always think of the Nas, the Lost tapes, and I'm thinking, you know, I loved Four Finger Ring, and I've just wondered, you know, just with your ear, was there something, a track or two that you recorded during that time that didn't make that final album that we might get one day?
I don't know, but I will tell you that a secret. The song C, that song Four Finger Ring, that was cut from Alpha. You know what I'm saying? C was supposed to be on Alpha, and that shit was cut from that. And yeah, it ended up on Four Finger Ring, but yeah, matter of fact, yeah, because I got a team demo record that Jay asked me all the time. It was supposed to be on Four Finger Ring too. And he asked me all the time. It's called Fredo. He asked me all the time. He's like, yo, son, what's up with Fredo? What's up with Fredo? I'm like, yo, I know it didn't fit the album, but it'll probably be on Alpha 2.0 because we doing team demo producing the whole Alpha 2.0. So it'll probably be that. But yeah, there's a couple. Like, I'm my own worst critic. Like, I'll be like, yo, there's a couple songs that almost didn't make Four Finger Ring. Like February 6th almost didn't make it. Like, it almost didn't make it. Like, I loved it, but I was just getting over COVID when I recorded that. And my breath was, I did that, and there was something else I did that day, but my breath was short, and I had to re-record. The second verse I left, but the first verse I re-recorded because I didn't like how I was hitting it. I'm still not 100% on how I hit the first verse of February 6th, but yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. It ain't as perfect as I would have wanted it, but nobody is gonna hear it like I hear it. You know, so because a lot of people told me that's their favorite song on the whole shit. So people ain't even born on February 6th. You know, I'm like, hey, have at it. You like it, I love it, brother. What's your favorite? Yo, you said Bloody Rain. You said Bloody Rain. So what was your favorite?
My favorite? Well, my favorite was Think About You, because about how personal lyrics were and that sample. It just all came together for a beautiful kind of like masterpiece of a song.
Right. Yeah, I mean, recording the whole process of recording it was just dope. It felt finished. I didn't like when it was done. It felt that way. I didn't feel like it was missing anything. I didn't feel like I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for the people to. Yeah. This guy's from CJ Dove, one of my producers, 6 Man Entertainment. Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm excited for everybody to hear what's coming. It's a lot of material coming. Project with the Snow Rooms coming. Like I said, J.R. Swift. We got Moby. We got, it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to thank you, for taking this time out today and giving us such an in-depth, personal, detailed description of, the events behind this album and the events in the album. So thank you again for your time.
No doubt. No doubt. My favorite song on there, I just gotta tell everybody, it changes, but it always comes back to Four Finger Ring Part 2. I love that song. I just want to tell that story real quick.
Yes,
Four Finger Ring Part 2 was the last song recorded on that album. My man Freak Show did the beat. He also did the beat for the intro, Anxiety. Those beats, I had them already from him. As a matter of fact, they were submitted for Alpha. I want to say Alpha. I want to say I had those since Alpha. I was trying to find stuff from him because he was sending me stuff, but it wasn't necessarily fitting the album. But I knew that I had to finish this album, and I was going in for my last session. And he didn't have anything, so I was like, yo, I didn't know what I was going to record. I'm at work in training, right? So we had to be on camera at our desk in training because, due to COVID, everybody had to be spread it out in the training or with the camera on their screen. And, I write in my phone, so we're not supposed to be on the phone. We're looking on the camera. Now, mind you, my session is booked for right after I get off work. So I'm like, fuck, what I'm gonna do? So I remembered the beat in my head. I was like, yo, I wrote the rap sitting in training on camera. The beat was not playing, but I'm writing and acting like I'm taking notes in class, like looking, but I'm writing the rap, and then went to the studio right after and recorded it. That song means a lot because even my breath control, like that's when I really felt like I started getting it back, like trying to, because the cadences and the pockets of how I write is greater than where my breath control was at the time because of COVID, whooping my ass and me recovering from the COVID. So yeah, man, like that song means a lot, just to me, in terms of getting it done and putting the ribbon on it, and just performance wise and the lyrics. Like I love the lyrics, love them, love the chorus, I just love it, love the record.
Well, one other point to you is that we were talking last week about comparisons, and on the Rome Streets album, it had that. Well, to me, it had that one massive dud of a song, "Armed and Dangerous," that just threw the whole album out of whack. In our opinion, it didn't fit the album. But on this album, there was no dud, there was no bad song. So hey, that's one other thing you have up on that album. So not a bad song on the track list.
Now it's important when you putting albums together to think of it like that. Like you could love a song, man. Like I try to tell people, like, listen, man, I'm connected to these records too. Like I love them too, but you can always take that and put that on something else where it fits. This shit is like putting clothes on. Like you're not gonna wear brown and like you dig what I'm saying? Like you want to match. Like you want your stuff. Like you're not gonna wear an Adidas sweatshirt and some Jordans. Like you're not gonna do it. It don't fit. Like you gotta make everything fit. It gotta match. It gotta be right. For that particular project. If you're working on multiple projects at one time, that's something different. So you take that, you put that over there, but you have to have some sort of theme. It has to be a theme. And in your mind, in your soul, you have to know what the energy is. And every beat, every record has to fit into that energy, If it doesn't, it's gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, and that's that's why I asked the question before, because I know how particular you are in album curation, and we've spoken before about the process of that album curation, and that's why it always intrigues me to ask that question, because I know just with your ear and the way that you go about recording a project is that there will be some fire beats or verses or songs that weren't on this that we can get somewhere else. So I always like asking that question because just because I know how you go about it, but. Seed, thanks again.
I got a song that I did for Four Figure Ring that is funny that you say this. It's probably the most personal song I ever made. And it's so personal that I couldn't put it on there. Murder Mags produced it. I don't know if y'all remember, like a few albums back, I had a song produced by J.R. Swift, and it was Grammy considered, not nominated, but considered for nomination. It was a song called Daddy Dearest, right? That was about my father, right? So I made a song called Mommy Dearest, and this was about my daughter's mother. Yo. Because we were going through something at the time. Like, it was crazy what we was going through. And I kind of blacked out, and we cool now. Like, we good. But I feel like if I would have put that record out, like, it'd have been really bad. Like, it'd have been bad. It was very personal, but it was the truth. It was my truth at the time. And it was, scathing. Maybe one day ask her, yo, you mind if I put that shit out? She'd probably be like, nah, what? Knowing her, she don't want that shit out.
That kind of reminds me. I was gonna say that kind of reminds me of real quick of that the new JID album, the System at the very end. How it doesn't end, it just ends abruptly because it's not over. The conflict isn't over, so there's no ending.
Yep. Like, please, I don't want no smoke.
Fair enough. Nah, look, thank you again for all your time and for being so honest and personal. We really appreciate the input.
No doubt, man. Anytime, yo. Brutus call, I'm there.
You're my man, Seed.
You already know.
All right. Thank you again.
Man,
have a good one.
No doubt. Y'all too, man.
Thanks, Seed.